guys, Christy here. Welcome to my kitchen counter. I am excited to share with you guys one of my favorite recipes. This has been a family favorite for many, many years. It's called chicken bruschetta pasta, and basically we're using some of my favorite power tools. I cooked up some chicken in our multi-cooker. This is the Pampered Chef version of a pressure cooker. Anybody have one of those Instapots, you know? Raise your hand if you have an Instapot. Okay, never had an Instapot. Never had an air fryer before Pampered Chef came out with one. I mean, literally, I feel like Pampered Chef kind of takes the items that are on the market and listens to what people are complaining about and then fixes them. So what I did is I actually just had 4 pretty large chicken breasts from Costco. You know how big those are. Just put them in here, partially frozen, and just add a cup of broth or liquid. I could have added water because it would have made its own broth, right? So cup of liquid because that's what's gonna bring it to pressure. And it cooks so quickly. It does have to come under pressure. It takes about 10 minutes, just like if you're preheating your oven, right? You don't preheat it to 400 and then all of a sudden it's ready to go. So this takes some time to come under pressure, and then 15 minutes later, you got nice juicy chicken. And what I did is I took that hot chicken and put it in our insulated bowl. These are family favorites. We have all the sizes. We use these to keep sides warm while maybe we're waiting on the main dish, or if my husband's grilling, he takes one out to bring the burgers or the steaks or the chicken back in from the grill, the broths, any of those things. He'll use these to bring them in, because usually, you know, even though he's told me, hey, they're ready, oh shoot, he's bringing them in, I'm running to get the ketchup and the mustard and all the toppings out. Anybody relate? So the insulated bowls, we'll talk about that here in a minute, because you can see the steam on it, and it's been out of the multi-cooker for a bit. So you'll see the steam when I lift this up. Keeps your hot foods hot longer, also keeps cold food cold. So just keep that in mind. Now, chicken bruschetta pasta. So we got the chicken. We're gonna be finishing that in a minute. I boiled my pasta, y'all, in the microwave in our deep covered baker. And that's still pretty warm. So I'm gonna kind of pull it over here just to show you. Basically, I used elbow macaroni for this one, and so you can use spaghetti. I've used spaghetti before, but you can see there's still a little liquid in there. But I found that when you boil your pasta, whether you do it on the stove or in the microwave, boil your pasta with broth. Couple reasons. First of all, you're getting a little extra protein and nutrition in there. I feel like the broth absorbs into the pasta a little more than the water. I've never had to, I'm gonna mute. If you don't have to drain it, because here's the thing, you have broth, you're boiling your pasta in, that extra broth that's in there is gonna kind of add to the sauce. And the sauce for this recipe is the dream. Y'all, it's 5 ingredients. It's Roma tomatoes, it's fresh basil, it's olive oil, salt, and garlic. The olive oil, salt, and garlic you probably always have at your house. I usually have to just go pick up some tomatoes and some fresh basil, except when I was growing basil. Y'all, if you can grow basil, it's delightful. Now, today, 2 stores didn't even have fresh basil, so I got the next best thing, I guess. It's chopped basil, and it is kind of like just a dried kind of basil. So we're gonna use that. So what we are going to use, I've got my olive oil, I've got my salt, I've got my garlic, my tomatoes. 5 ingredients. The freshness of this pasta is amazing, okay? So let me just get my things ready. We're gonna use our twist and chop. This is a dream. Let me just show you first before I even add anything to it. I want you to see what's happening to the button, or what is happening to the blade as I push the button. Can y'all see how that blade is going up and down as it's spinning? So that's gonna take the food and kind of process it. As it's chopping it, it's gonna be mixing it at the same time. So let me take the lid off. I'm gonna take our tomatoes, and I'm just going to take and use our veggie wedger. Wedge the tomatoes, put them down in there. These are all different sizes, aren't they? But this is great for potatoes. Anything without a core, you can totally use the veggie wedger for. You could take, if they were potatoes, a little olive oil and some seasoning to rub. And I didn't mention, but I used our seasoning salt on our chicken. And for those of you busy moms, I tell you what, Okay. Have you ever heard of cook once, serve twice, or 3 times? I call them planned overs instead of leftovers because nobody likes leftovers. But you can seriously get 4 to 6 pounds of chicken done in your multi-cooker. Just put a little seasoning salt on it. And then when you get the chicken out and you shred it, which we're gonna do here in a minute, you can totally have chicken ready to go. Put a little taco seasoning on it one night for Taco Tuesday. Next night you'll be doing barbecue, but that seasoning salt just gives it a flavor that you can add to at the end. So I got a little bit of our olive oil. I'm gonna put a little bit of our basil in. Oh shoot, look at me making a mess. Pampered, not perfect. Here, my counter was clean. I'll just get that out there. Anybody do that? There we go. Okay, so let me just put the lid back on. Even when it's plugged in, if the lid is not on, it will not process. So you need to have the lid on. I'm gonna just push the button. I used pulse before, but I'm just gonna push the button. And it doesn't take any time at all. I'm gonna add more to it. You don't wanna overfill. We do have a manual food processor too, which is really nice. But again, that one you don't wanna overfill either. You wanna be able to give it room to be able to do its magic, work its magic. I'll go ahead and add a little salt. We'll add a little salt at the end too. And then once we get this a little more processed, I'm gonna add garlic. And while this is going, tell me, who uses fresh garlic? Any fresh garlic users? Fresh garlic. I'm not sure if y'all can hear while that's going. Fresh garlic. Think tidy whitey. Not bleached white, but you don't want it being green or, but the thing is when you buy fresh garlic, there's so many health benefits to fresh garlic as opposed to garlic pepper, garlic salt. There are some places for seasonings, but I love to just take the bulb of garlic. If your recipe calls for a couple of cloves, there's lots of cloves in the bulb. You just take them out. And when you have the right garlic press, which would be this one, you don't even have to peel the garlic cloves first. You put the whole clove, peel and all, into the press. Oh my gosh. I wish this was smell-o-vision and y'all could smell what's going on right here in this pan. I don't even have a garlic in there yet, but that basil is amazing. But it has a little Barbie brush, is what I like to call it. I mean, I'm a boy mom, but I remember the Barbie brushes when I was a kid, right? So just gonna take and pull out the peel. The peel, when you have your garlic press, is either gonna be right here on the hammer or like mine was right there in the well. And you just can take and push it out. I'm gonna get that, all the garlic goodness out, put it on here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and add another clove because I don't think you can have too much garlic. It's kind of like too much garlic, too much cheese. I don't think there is such a thing in either respect. So let me get that off. Now, I was hoping one of them would be right there on the hammer so you can see. But super easy, dishwasher safe. This finds its way into the disposal if you're not careful. So always put it in something before you put it in the sink, okay? So, and then easy read measuring cups. This is the smallest, this is the largest. This is a 4 cup. There's a 2 cup, 1 cup, and 4 tablespoon. These sets are great because if you're pouring like your broth or something that you need to measure, you don't need to do squats, you don't need to do back bends to see the measurements. They're just right here along the edge. They are microwave safe, so if you need to melt some butter, things like that, they're dishwasher safe. So these are kind of a must-have for every kitchen, just like the garlic press, just like the multi-cooker, the stoneware deep cover baker, all the things. Okay, so let me just give this a little pulse because we want to get, there's some more garlic that just fell right down here. We're gonna get all the goodness in here. Okay, I'm just gonna pulse this to get the garlic mixed in. Oh my gosh. Look at the goodness. Doesn't that look beautiful? Just the colors, it's so bright and colorful. Now, I know some of you have littles, and I mentioned to that my boys loved chicken noodles. And doing the chicken or the pasta in chicken broth kind of gives it a nice flavor, right? So I want to show you again the pasta, right? We're going to take our very hot chicken. Watch the steam. Do you see that steam coming up there? The handle right there, the lid fits right on the side of the handle or of the bowl. And I'm going to take our salad choppers. We're not doing salad. We are going to just shred up our chicken with our salad choppers. And you can see there's some nice seasoning on there. I'm just going to take and chop up the chicken. So when we would serve this when our kids were little, my youngest is 20 now, the oldest is 28, and they all like all the goodness now. They all like the basil, but you know, sometimes when kids are little and their brains aren't fully developed, they don't like green things, even though it tastes delicious. So what we would do as when they were kids is we would put some pasta and some chicken on their plates, and then we would mix the goodness together for mom and dad, because we were the ones eating the leftovers too, because we like leftovers, especially this one, because you know, it's like a lot of times Italian food, Mexican food, they have those fresh herbs and things. When they set an extra day, it just makes the goodness even that much more flavorful. Do you find that? Meatloaf is another one that can almost have more flavor the next day. Okay, so if you notice, I still have 2 full chicken breasts in here. So I kind of did a little bit of a planned over because those chicken breasts from Costco are so big. There's plenty of chicken in here. And I'm just gonna take and pour the sauce over. But you can see how much this makes. Too bad y'all aren't all close and can come over. We can just have a little dinner after our call. I guess it would be a late dinner tonight. But I can just move this around. Every piece is still hot. The chicken was hot. The pasta was hot. And again, I did it in the microwave, and I did about, this wasn't quite a pound of pasta, but I have done a full pound of pasta and about 4 cups of broth. And it's about 8 minutes, and then stir it up, and then 8 minutes. I love our chef's tongs. This is the larger version. Stainless steel, silicone. They stay together when you're storing them in your drawer. Invert them and squeeze, and you'll see the slide goes down. So you have these nice sturdy tongs with the edges that aren't going to ruin any of your pans. Okay, so let me move this over because there's one more thing that I think you need to add to any Italian. Well, I think any recipe, honestly. Any recipe's better with cheese. I mentioned cheese. I mentioned you can't get enough garlic, or you can't get too much cheese, right? So we got our Parm cheese. One of the products that, one of my favorite products that we're not using tonight is my coarse adjustable grater, which I know, I see Rochelle kind of smiling and nodding her head. She's been a host for a while, so she understands my love of the cheese grater. I haven't bought already grated cheese in like decades, y'all. It's been that long. But this is called our cup zester, all right? Now, if you've ever used a zester or a fine grater for your parm, what happens is a lot of times it sticks to the back. But you see, as I was rotating that, it's like a little windshield wiper that's getting it all nice and loose. So look how much cheese I just grated. And then I could, if I'm not serving it, like now, I'm not serving it quite yet, I could just take the lid, just put it right on this little bottom piece, put it in the refrigerator, and it's ready to go when we're ready to eat. So there is chicken bruschetta pasta. Super quick, super easy. And when you are doing this at home, you can have your chicken cooking in your multi-cooker. You can have your pasta cooking in your microwave while you're making your sauce. Seriously, this dinner could come together in about 15 minutes. Within 30 minutes, because you have, this has to preheat and everything. But you can put that in, and like I said, even if you forget to thaw out your chicken, you can put it in here frozen with enough liquid, at least a cup, where you can have a delicious meal ready super, super quick. Okay, that's it for tonight.